I wanted to raise the issue of harbours, specifically local harbours. Recent changes in legislation meant that harbours were transferred and harbour companies were abolished and their responsibilities were transferred to local authorities, and that is welcome, particularly since in 2009 any element of local democratic involvement in the operation of harbours was removed and councillors were removed from the boards of those companies. So throughout the country now you have harbours now being administered by local authorities, and the cost implications of that are significant. Perhaps nowhere more so than in Dún Laoghaire-Rathdown, because Dún Laoghaire Harbour was transferred with an estimated liability of €45 million to Dún Laoghaire-Rathdown County Council. That is now a huge burden, both capitally and in terms of the revenue budget of the council on an ongoing basis. And I think that we as a House need to recognise that this is repeated in other local authorities throughout the country, and we need to take stock of that. The result is that in the case of somewhere like Dún Laoghaire Harbour, which is an enormous historical asset for the country, both in terms of it being the location through which so many emigrants left this country, but also in terms of its Victorian architecture, what it is, what it represents. It suffers from a lack of investment now because Dún Laoghaire-Rathdown County Council simply doesn't have the money to make the huge repairs and the huge maintenance that needs to be carried out on that. And as we approach the end of this month, I know Dún Laoghaire-Rathdown's budget meeting is scheduled for the 24th of November. That's going to be a real difficulty for councillors to find that money. But there are also knock-on effects to other important historic harbours like Bullock Harbour, like Colliemore Harbour, where there's been recent damage which has rendered the harbour essentially unusable. And we as a House, I think, need to take stock of the fact that this burden has been transferred from central government onto local authorities, notwithstanding the fact that in the case of Dún Laoghaire Harbour, the Dún Laoghaire Harbour Company essentially ran the harbour into the ground and totally failed to take care of the maintenance obligations that it had. But we have allowed a burden to shift onto local authority and thereby onto the residents of that area that I say we need to deal with as a House.
Thank you, Senator Wall.
Thank you very much. Ciarán, I want to be associated with the words of my colleague,